All right, this is part 2 of the recording for the fall semester exam review. All right, a student rides from school to a recreation center. The relationship between his distance from the center and time in minutes is shown below. Which of the following is the domain of this function? Now remember, domain goes left to right. All right, so we're going to start here. Nothing's going past 0 or 28. So we're really kind of stuck here between 0 and 28. So we're looking for real numbers greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 28. I think this is the answer. Here I've got 0 and 9, which is the range. And these two are just not good. All right, number 12. I've got given f of x is 6 times 1 minus x. Find the value of f of negative 6. All right, this can be done in your calculator. And so I would open up my calculator, and I've already graphed this. If we hit Control T, we can scroll up to negative 6, where we see that it is right here at 42. Okay, so it is at 42. So to put this on the griddable, I can put the positive there. I don't have to, but it certainly won't hurt it. Okay. Now, a pattern of dots is shown in the 4 figures below. If the pattern continues, which expression can be used to find the total number of dots in figure N? All right. I would recommend making myself a table. Okay, I would call this figure 1, 2, and 3, and I would let that be my x values. All right, in figure 1, there are 3 dots. In figure 2, there are 5 dots. In figure 3, there are 7 dots. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you can do this. One way that might be easiest is to practice using your lists and spreadsheets in the calculator. Again, this is something I've already done for us. Preloaded this. So I just went into lists and spreadsheets, and I did make sure that you make this X and this Y and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can do stack calculations over here, and it's somewhat helpful, but it's not the best. It does tell me that the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is 1, or you can do the linear regression piece and make a table and have it tell you that it is 2x plus 1. It's your choice. Both ways will give you the information you need. So we know it's 2x plus 1, which is actually b. All right, we're not going to see anything like question number 14 here, so we can kind of pop that out. So let's look at 15. A linear function is shown below. Which of the following equations can be represented by the graph? This is one where I would take all of these equations and I would put it in the calculator. And I would graph each and every one of them as a relation. And again, this is something that I have kind of preloaded for us. And so we're going to come in here and we're going to open something that I've done. Okay, so here you only see 3 lines, okay? So if you look at this one right here, we don't see the blue line. So which one is it hiding under? See right there? It's highlighting that that blue and pink line are the same lines. Can you see it changing as I scroll back and forth? So the blue line is 2x minus 3y equals negative 6, and the pink line is y minus 6 is equal to 2/3 x times x minus 6. So for us, that correlates to 1 and 4. So D. All right. So here we want to find the rate of change for number 16. Rate of change is slope. Okay, so that's your change in y over your changes in x's. Okay, so I'm going to go down here and look in the table. There's a lot of numbers here. I'm going to choose the coordinates that contain 0 because that's going to make my life easier. So I've got 7 minus 0 for y's over 2 minus 5. 7 minus 0 is 7. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So my answer is B. All right, 17. The slope of a line that passes through the points 10W and 4, negative 7 is 2/3. What is the value of W? All right, so there's a lot of ways to attack this problem. I personally would find a graph, okay? So, and I would plot the points. I can't do 10W, but I can do 4, negative 7, and that's this point, okay? And I know that the slope is 2/3. Remember, that's our rise over our run, okay? So I'm going to go up 2, run 3, up 2, run 3, okay? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3. This is 10, negative 3. So it's negative 3. Okay. Number 18. If y varies directly with x and y is 20/3 when x is 10, which equation describes this relationship? Now remember, the equation is for direct variation is y equals kx. Okay? If y is 20/3 when x is 10, which equation describes the relationship? Okay? At this point, I would multiply both sides by 3, and that would give me 20 is equal to 30k, and I would divide both sides by 30. Alright, those go away, that reduces, so I know that k, which is my constant, is 2/3. So back to the idea that we got y equals kx. So y is equal to 2/3 x. Okay. In an electrical circuit, the voltage across the resistor is directly proportional to the current running through the resistor. If the current of 10 amps produces 460 volts across the resistor, how many volts would a current of 2.5 amps produce across an identical resistor? All right, so I could, at this point, this one would, remember, the constant is equal to y over x when we're talking about direct variation relationships. So if I say 10 when it's 460 and 2.5 when it's what? Okay, so I can cross multiply. I'm going to get 10x is equal to, and I'm going to need a calculator, so I'm going to come here. I'm going to open up a new document. I just need a calculator here. So I need 460 times 2.5, and that is 1,150. And now I need to divide both sides by 10. So if I divide that by 10, I get 115. Okay. Again, if you want to, you can do the plus sign, but you don't have to. And then just bubble in. All right, what is the equation in standard form of the line that passes through 6 negative 10 and has a slope of 1/6? All right, so this is back to the point that we have three equations that we work with. We have mx plus b, we have our standard form, and we have our y minus point slope. Y1 is equal to the slope times x minus x1. Okay, of these three, in this situation, the point slope is going to be the one that's going to help us the most. Okay, I have a point, and I'm going to plug in my y1, which is negative 10, is equal to the slope, which is 1/6, times x minus x1, which is 6. Okay, I'm going to clear out my double negatives. So I've got y plus 10 is equal to 1/6 x minus 1/6 times 6 is 1. I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides, and I get y is equal to 1/6 x minus 11. And of course, that is in standard form. So we know how to do that too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to subtract 1/6 x from both sides. And now I have negative 1/6 x plus y is equal to negative 11. Right? So I'm breaking a couple of rules here. I can't have a leading negative or fraction. So to clear both of them at the same time, I'm going to multiply this entire equation by negative, which will make it positive, and this denominator of 6, which will clear all that out. So that'll go away, and leaving me with just x, plus minus negative 6 times y is negative 6y, and a negative times a negative is positive 66. Well, that was a long problem, but doable. So I'm going to come back up here, and the one that matches is A. All right, that's the end of part 2. We will continue on with part 3.